Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's been a very long time that we haven't really uploaded any video in here. We're gonna upload our first video of this month. So in this video is gonna be something a little different. I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I mark up my chart from the beginning to the end and how I look for potential trade. So let's get started. Alright, cool. So the first two things that you guys are gonna need whenever you guys are marking up your charts, right? So basically you guys are gonna choose any pair that you guys like, right? So I trade basically almost every forex pair. So you guys can take a look over here. I basically trade all of this. So today we're just gonna focus on NCD USD, right? So you guys gonna log into TradingView and you guys gonna start with a clean chart, right? So basically delete everything. So the first thing first, what I like to look, right? I'm a swing trader, so I like basically looking at the higher time frame, right? So I first start off the monthly time frame, going down to the weekly time frame, from the daily time frame all the way to the 4 hour time frame. And then like in the 1 hour to 30 minutes is where I can look for potential, potential setups. So let's basically start off first with the monthly time frame. All right. So what I look for in the monthly time frame is basically what the market direction is, right? Again, the higher the time frame, the stronger the trend, right? So for in this case, the monthly time frame, you guys can see the market has been very bearish, right? So from over here, you guys can see a market bullish and then a market bearish. So first thing first, what I like to also look is where did the market start? So where did the market end up the bearish, right? So over here, basically we stopped at this area. You just do this, just put 6100 there. Right there, right? If you guys look left, what do you guys notice in this area? In this area, you guys can see in the past, it was being used as support, 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 right? So there's different market structure. Like for in this case, the market has been rejecting 0.6100 for multiple time, right? So the market has been rejecting this area multiple time and it hasn't really broke under. So this confirms that the market is having trouble breaking under and that support is being held very strong, right? Now, another thing to look at is where the market's pretty much at left. So as you guys look left, you guys can see the market is basically under this area, right? So just put this where the market is currently at. Boom. So just from there on, you guys are going to work yourself all the way up. So from the weekly time frame, right, we go back down to the weekly time frame. What do you guys notice with this pair, right? Obviously, the weekly is also bearish, right? So from this case, let me delete this. So in the weekly time frame, you guys can see how the market is in a bearish market, right? So low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, and lower, high, right? So the weekly, we confirm bearish, right? So also we need to write this down. So NU, we have the monthly, bearish. We have the weekly. So let's just put this as weekly, bearish, right? So far we have monthly and weekly bearish, right? So another thing you guys want to look at is pretty much how the past you guys could have called potential trade. So for in this case, what I like to look is how the market's pretty much moving. So just by looking at this trade over here, you guys can tell that how the market over here created a very strong lower low and then another lower high. And if you guys look left, you guys can see that this area over here was support and it's now being used as resistance, right? So that's another area that I like to look at, right? I just like to look at potential trades from the past. So I'll also zoom out to see what that area was in the past. So for in this case, this area was being used as support, 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 and support is now being used as resistance, right? So in this case over here, a very nice sell. So now that we have this very nice monthly, right? So we have this low, lower high, lower low, potential lower high. We go back down to the daily time frame, right? So now we're working down under. So what do you guys notice in the daily time frame, right? Something very different, right? So in the daily time frame, you guys can see how the market is bullish, right? Now it's not 100% confirmed bullish since we're still under the weekly support, right? So keep this in mind, we're still under the weekly support, so it doesn't really call out bullish, right? I'll pretty much for it to be 100% bullish, we need to start breaking above this area, right? Above these highs. So we go down to daily time frame, and then the daily it calls out bullish, right? So let's just put monthly, weekly bearish, and then we have the daily bullish, right? So we got the monthly, weekly bearish, and the daily bullish. Why is the daily bullish? Again, if you guys look left, you guys can tell how the market over here was just creating lower lows and lower highs. And now in this case, we're now creating higher highs and higher lows. So we just write that down over here. So the daily no longer creating lower lows, lower high, now making higher highs and higher lows. Very simple, right? So daily is no longer creating higher, lower lows and lower highs. We're now making new higher highs and higher lows, right? So now is from the daily time frame. It's where we potential catch a trade, right? So I actually have this marked up from the past. So I will show you guys exactly what I'm looking at the moment and show you guys basically three setups that I have planned for NCD USD. So off the daily time frame, just again, whenever the trend is going up, we go with the trend, right? We never go against the trend, we go along the trend. So for in this case, we're not looking for buys, right? So we go down to the 4 hour time frame to see what the 4 hour also is doing. So if you guys notice the 4 hour, we also creating higher highs and higher lows. So the daily and 4 hour is bullish, right? So let's just write that down again. Third one, 4 hour also bullish, creating higher lows. Boom, boom, there. Okay, so we have already a potential trade, right? What are we going to be looking for? For buys, right? So in the 4 hour time frame, you guys can see how the market is now creating higher highs and higher lows. So if you guys start off from here, you guys can see how in the past, it pretty much broke above resistance, right? So whenever the market breaks above resistance, we get a pullback to be used as support to then continue back to the upside. So exactly what happened over here. You guys notice over here, we did break above resistance, right? Boom. Broke above resistance, 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 market pulled back, being used as support, and then continue back to the upside, right? Now over here, what do you guys notice? Right here, we have another resistance. If you guys look left, we also have another resistance around this area, right? So very simple, just mark this up over here. Boom, there we go. What do we have over here? We have resistance, resistance, support, resistance, resistance, and resistance, right? So now we're looking at this area that we can get a potential pullback at this time. Now keep in mind, the market is not always going to pull back to the area that you really want, right? Just keep that in mind. The market can also stop from here and just go back to the upside, right? So this is where pretty much it gets kind of tricky, that you guys got to really focus on what you guys are doing. So for in this case, we have this resistance, right? But now if you guys look left, we have another kind of minor resistance, right? So this is another area to mark up. So we have this other resistance at this point and then other resistance at this other point. So let me just pull this up here. Boom. Resistance, 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 and resistance, right? If you guys notice the 4-hour EMA, you guys can notice how the 4-hour EMA is being under, right? The 4-hour EMA is under, so it's being used as support, right? So that's another thing you guys want to write down, the EMA. Where is this? Right here. You want to write down the 4-hour EMA, right? You got the daily and 4-hour EMA under, being used or acting as support. Simple. So whenever you guys are looking for buy position or long position, right? Or any long position or any sell position, right? You guys want to notice also the EMA, right? So the EMA, I do look from the daily time frame, also from the 4-hour time frame. So if you guys notice the daily EMA, right? What do you guys notice with the daily EMA? The daily EMA is under. Same thing with the 4-hour EMA. The 4-hour EMA is under. So in that case, we're pretty much being used as support. So over here, whenever the market in the daily time frame, you guys can see that daily is creating higher highs and higher lows. So we're now pretty much expecting for the next higher low. So our area of interest is 63,435, right? Or 63,440. So that's basically our area of interest. So for in this case, we're looking for this boom, boom, and boom, right? Copy and paste, literally the same exact move, right? So basically, we're just waiting for the same move to give us the right A plus setup, right? So write this. Boom. This is what basically we're waiting for. Pullback, retest, resistance, 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 retest daily EMA, retest 4-hour EMA, clean rejection, and then we go long. So for in this case, we already found our area of interest to look for long position. Now in the 4-hour time frame, you guys can see how the market looks clean, right? Again, higher high, low, higher high, higher low, retest, resistance, resistance, and resistance, right? So now, like I was talking about, that we're also retesting this other resistance, right? We want to come down to the 1-hour time frame and see what the market is doing at this case. So in the 1 hour, again, we're bearish, right? Why we're bearish? Because we're no longer in this higher highs and higher lows. We're now creating lower lows and lower highs. So this is where you guys can catch at least 2 or 3 setups. But again, you guys want to focus on the A plus setup, meaning the best setup, right? So for over here, you guys can see how the market started breaking under these lows, right? So we broke under here. So this is another way to keep in mind. We broke under here. Now in the 1-hour time frame, it depends on what type of trader you guys. If you guys are a scalper, you guys are able to catch the pullback over here, see if there's rejection to then come long, right? Well, in my case, we're looking for long positions. So over here, if you guys notice, the market did stop at that area of resistance, and that area of resistance price pulled up to the upside, right? But what I was basically looking for, I was waiting for the market to start breaking above these highs like it did. But if you guys notice, the market is kind of in the range. So there's not really a clean setup just yet, right? So basically what I'm going to wait for is for the market to keep breaking upside. If there's no break to the upside and it just keeps breaking under, then we wait for the next daily setup And if the daily setup gave us the right confirmation, then we enter the long position. So for in this case, we're just waiting for the market to break above these highs, right? So let's go back to the 4-hour time frame. So we already have the idea of where the market's pretty much heading out, right? So the market is still trying to push to the upside due to the fact that daily is very bullish, right? So keep this over here. Boom. Just underline this over here. There. So basically, we're just waiting for pullbacks at this point, right? So there's no setup just yet. We're just waiting for the pullback. So once we do get that pullback, right, what are we going to be waiting for? So here's the most important things. Because a lot of traders, I do notice a lot of traders, just because it touches that area, they enter the market, right? So we're going to need confirmation. So the confirmation that I look for whenever I'm looking to go long, I look for either a bullish candle, right? It can either be a bullish engulfing or other bullish candle that and identify the market bullish, right? Another one is market pattern. You guys can look for a double bottom or inverted head and shoulder, right? My favorite ones are the inverted head and shoulder because that one's like the most clean one, the most easy one to get the pullback, right? And then the last one is you guys want to get a very clean rejection and a very nice confirmation that is creating higher highs and higher lows, right? So that's three different setups, three different confirmation that you guys want whenever you guys are looking in the market. So over here, if you guys notice, we're just waiting for a pullback, no setup just yet. So we just basically relax and wait for the market to pull back and give us the right setup. Now, here's another thing. If the market does this, right, boom, and the market closes under, right, we're no longer interested in long. Why we're no longer interested in long? Because the market did not respect these highs and the market just kept breaking under. And if you guys notice over here, the EMA is now in that point is going to be used as resistance, right? So we're no longer looking for buys if the market breaks under, and then we just simply wait for the next lower high, rejection of the EMA, and then we sell. So it's very simple, guys. So this is pretty much how I mark up my chart just from the monthly time frame all the way to the 4-hour time frame. So over here, I just gave you guys a really quick example how I do it. So if you guys have any question, if you guys did learn, give a like, and if you guys have any question, make sure you guys give me a comment down below. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out.